that if you give to the children, it will solve a lot of problems. It's actually a surgical strike kind of thing on many kind of problems that would be coming in the society. Normally, what we do or what governments do is to address poverty. They introduce social schemes, social service schemes, and give things like pension, free food, free rice, stuff like that. All this is happening because people are not that educated and do not find jobs. Instead, for the first of I mean first in or next 20-25 years, if government focuses on education, provides free education for anyone who require it will solve all the problems, and the cost of these social welfare schemes will also be reduced drastically, because people are now self-employed because of the education they have, and the necessity of social welfare schemes will be very, very minimal. So this is one problem which government should focus on. And the thing, with regards to pandemic, that has caused a huge problem with regards to this online education and the rising cost of school fees also. What happened during the pandemic, many parents, they have lost their jobs, their earning levels have fallen, and schools also have seen dropouts from students. Parents were not able to pay fees properly, and schools were struggling to pay electricity bills or building rents or fees to teachers and other staff members. Now, to recover these losses, they are raising school fees, which is affecting the middle class a lot, who are still coping up with the pandemic and trying to adjust themselves to the new normal that is happening. So I would say government should do something big to eradicate this problem. First of all, they should come up with a bill which will regulate school fees. Government should give some kind of fixed fees, only which the schools should charge. They should not charge anything like that. It is there for BTech. In BTech, government has fixed a semester-wise fees like 35, 40,000 something, and no college is allowed to take more than that. If they take more than that, they will have to face a case which government could file on them. Similarly, this should happen with regards to schools also. In school education system, there is no such law that is there to regulate school fees. Government should immediately start doing that. And one more thing or observation is that the quality of education in most government schools of this country is not that good. That is why, even if the education over there is being provided as free, they are giving midday meals, they are giving free textbooks, they are giving free uniforms to students, but still very less parents are interested to send their kids to government schools. Instead, they are preferring to send their schools to private schools by taking debts, borrowing money from family members, friends, things like that. This is causing problems for them also in future. Later, they are struggling to repay this fees. What government should do is they should try to make sure education quality in the government schools, this should increase at least to 10, 20 times to what it is there right now, so that government schools become attractive. Private schools will lose students, and these students will go join government schools. In some states or in some parts of the country, this is already happening. Say example, Delhi, and also in my state, Telangana. Government is focusing on some schools in trying to develop the infrastructure, trying to develop the faculty training programs. I once read an article where the state government has sent the teachers to foreign countries to study education system there, to study best practices in teaching, and then they started implementing that here in India, so that these schools will also get developed, and the child who is studying there will get good quality education. Now this should happen very widely across the states and across the countries. One observation which I had is government is doing something to develop the infrastructure in the school, to develop the quality of education, but they are picking few schools and trying to develop infrastructure or quality only in this less number of schools. The same quality or same infrastructure is not there in all the schools across the state or across the country. We should try to fix this issue as fast as we can. We should move as a society and solve this problem. All the schools should be equally developed and adequately developed so that it can accommodate the children and give proper education to them. This should happen, Saurav. Only if this problem is solved, we would change from a developing nation to a developed nation. I don't know since when India is a developing nation, but ever since I started studying this concept, I've always studied that India is a developing nation. But if we could fix the problem with regards to education, give proper education to the students of this country, we will then move to a developed nation. Other nations, Western European nations or South American, North American nations should come to India to study, to get ideas from here and to work here. This is personally my dream. I want to see that happen. And also on these lines, I have one more wish or dream, which I have, I think, at least since 2013. If you see right now, value of one Indian rupee, sorry, value of one US dollar is somewhere around 78, 79 Indian rupees. I want to see it in a state where one Indian rupee is equals to one US dollar. And from there, we should move on to one Indian rupee equals to 20 US dollars. We have started taking steps. We are providing midday meals, trying to make our education system better. We are trying to implement Swachh Bharat and Atmanirbhar Bharat. The first step has already started. We should all take part in this now, try to play a bigger role, and make sure we reach the developed nation tag. This, Saurav, is my take on the topic.
I really appreciate you, sir, for a wonderful research on today's topic, sir. You did a great job. I was listening to carefully, and even I have some noted down some points, sir. Really, you have added some valuable points, and even I have done a research. I mean, a good
I
research on
think,
today's
Saurav, we
topic.
have got a speaker. I
It's,
think we have
yeah,
got a speaker for our next assignment.
special masala, sir.
Naveen, we are hiring you very soon for a small assignment that we have as a speaker at some particular event. We keep on doing these kind of small events for our learners, for our students, and we'll be hiring you for that. Amazing, Naveen. Just look at the research, look at the way you have performed. Everything was so very amazing. Over to you, Saurav, once again.
True, sir. Yeah, true, sir. So now I would like to request some other members. Chandrasekhar, sir, what do you think that private schools are much more better than government schools or not, sir?
Government, in my perspective, there are four levels of schools education system has been fitted. Initially, pre-primary, primary, secondary, and senior secondary, or colleges, we can name it as. Now, government has taken a lot of steps. Up to 8th class, we should compulsory. You have to take education. In olden days, the 40% of high school students were dropouts and not went to colleges. Now it is increased to 70%. Nowadays, is moving to the colleges. In that way, the education system has been like a earning one, not an self-motivated and what I would say. It's an self-organizational culture. Now everyone is thinking about that, how we can make money on that. The private sector schools are encashing this opportunity. In some other urban areas, the government schools are very less compared to the private schools. Nowadays we can see whenever wherever there is in every 2 to 3 streets, so we'll find one school, one private school, but not as per as government schools. Parents also suffering to pay the fees. Even some parents selling their belongings to for their children's education, so that they cannot struggle in their lives. Government should interfere in this matter separately and seriously, upgrade the education system and make the schools to English medium schools with proper knowledgeable teachers. Government has given the education loans. How many are getting it? If government introduces a schools equally and will be served, government should introduce more self-financial schools. Government also introduced a scheme that all schools has to collect equal fees and not increase more than that. If they they will if they got more than that, they will be penalized, and they will be their license will be cancelled. In that way, we can control the schools fees and these things. A government should regularly inspect the schools and get the details from the parents and students. Then, if followed, these kind of things we can followed. Then the schools also will be little bit what would you say? Little bit cautious, so that they will not do any further without any doing something. Okay, government should actively monitor the activities of the educational system and the schools. Then each and everyone will get a chance to learn the education and improve further, and they can live a good life in future. And we can also compete other countries with our good knowledge of education and learning, will compete other developed nations. Then only we can also in the list where developed nations. Thank you, Saurabh.
Thank you very much.